Travis Matthews.
HEWS. Skip Finch, Hunter White.
Hi.
And
There she is.
Dell,
And Tracy.
Tracy. And we have Carrie on the background as well.
Yep, so 7:04, Tuesday, the 10th.
Yep.
I call to order this board of finance meeting.
Sucks.
So Carrie and Adele. Carrie's on. And Adele is on.
I don't see Carrie. Which is,
It's Carrie. She's not sharing her video.
oh,
Okay.
I'm here. You really don't want to see my face.
So cool.
It's all right. You're good.
all right.
All right, so make a motion to seat Hunter as an alternative for tonight.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Any opposed? No. Great, so the first item on the agenda tonight is to review the Sandy Beach agreement with Ed. Thank you for coming in, appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And one of the things that I sent an email, he's got copies, was to kind of just briefly talk a little bit about this agreement, why it was formed. If there's any points in here that we should pay attention to, or specifically that you want to address or bring to light. And then secondly, as we go into budget season, we wanted to get a sense of kind of your P&L. And I don't think we've ever done that. I'm new to the board.
Right.
I know Tracy, in your history, I don't believe that you
It was
guys. have
Sandy
come in-
Beach. We just fund them and go on.
Fund and go on. So we
Right.
wanted to
That's
get.
it. We've never had.
And we've never asked for more money either.
Yeah.
No,
Which is
never
great.
said- Like, yeah, okay. So I don't think we've never had you in
Yeah.
since I've been here.
So this agreement was developed, I believe, last year because there was an insurance issue.
Yeah, so the two towns, since Sandy Beach's inception and being part of both towns, have been responsible by way of the lease with White Memorial to provide a liability policy. Unbeknownst to us, the commission, somewhere along the line, that policy stopped being paid for or was canceled. And that could have happened up till, I don't know, 7 to 10 years ago.
Really?
Yeah. So we've been operating the beach, thank God, without any incident for that period of time.
Is it?
So what transpired because of that was we went out and we started trying to find insurance, and the folks at Kerma said they would not cover us. And then probably 3 months later, they said that if there was a way to make more oversight over the beach and its operation, I guess, they would consider covering us. So this was drafted by an attorney and possibly Tom White and our first selectman, Denise Rapp.
Right.
Right.
My understanding that are the two town attorneys that are shared drafted this.
Okay, yep. I mean, I don't know if you want me to give you my overview of it, of
Sure.
what I believe it to be. It, for all intents purposes, we're going to continue to operate as we always have. We are responsible and have been responsible in the past for providing workman's comp insurance. So we continue to do that. The two towns agreed that they would, again, pay however they split that. They would pay the liability policy as required by the lease, which, by the way, for anyone that is interested, the lease actually expires in March
Of this year?
Yes. So I'm not sure.
Memorial?
Yes, yeah. I was told that there was some work being done on that months ago, but no one has contacted me as the chairman, and I don't know where that stands at this point. But anyway, so it also forms, I would call it, and maybe they're calling it something in here, technical terms, or legalese, but it's like a mini commission, which would always be each first selectman from each town
Mhm.
and whoever the chairman of Sandy Beach
Yeah, Tom had mentioned
Commission
that.
is. And that, there's a specification in here that we must meet at least once a year, I believe.
Yep. So in this agreement, there's a stipulation that you, the first selectman of Morris and the first selectman of Litchfield form I forget the exact terminology here, but
Yeah, it escaped me as well. I called it a mini commission.
yeah. Interlocal advisory board.
Yeah,
Right.
And you meet at least once a year
yes,
to determine that.
Mhm.
So the land lease, is that a line item here? It's
Yeah.
2414.
what page is that?
It's on here.
It's on.
Oh,
your
on that
sheet.
sheet.
So that's what you currently pay on a yearly basis to the
White
White
Memorial.
Memorial?
Yes,
And that we would assume would get renewed and probably the same.
yeah, I see no reason why it wouldn't get renewed.
Okay.
And is this insurance number below that? Does that reflect the current or the prior amount?
That insurance is the workman's comp insurance, I believe.
Okay,
And there's also something,
22nd, June 22nd.
yeah. And I believe there's some insurance that White Memorial carries, which is like $1,000 a year. Do you know what that is, Tom?
Liability
Or do
rider.
not recall?
I don't know.
So it,
Liability rider.
all right, would you say, oh, actually, anything that would throw any major changes at us from the financial side, like an insurance would crop up? And like I'm looking down here at your net income was negative 13 plus
mhm.
versus that. So will that change your total amount to the towns?
Well, what I can tell you is that in previous years, and I've been on the commission for at least 15 years, and Tom can speak going back as the beach manager, probably 30 years?
I was the manager for 25 years.
Yeah. We have always found a way to operate the beach within the limits of what the towns have given us.
Hmm.
One of the challenges that we have been faced with recently, where we spent a considerable amount of money out of pocket, out of the commission's money that we raise beyond what the towns give us, is we've had a number of ash trees that had to be removed.
Yeah.
As you can imagine,
Mhm.
for safety reasons. And we have more. And that has partially contributed to that 13,000 shortfall.
Was that the line item is the repairs and maintenance line item, or is that separate?
Yep,
So that's included in there?
yeah,
That's the
So
bump.
White Memorial doesn't do any of that maintenance.
no, what the lease has always said is that we are responsible for the
Thank you.
grounds and the buildings. So, we've done a lot of work there in the past 10 years. We have $100,000 septic system in, we have, 2 functioning bathrooms.
They were just recently remodeled.
Just
right?
functioning, they're
Nice.
nice. Yeah, so, we've done our part, I think, and White Memorial has to be happy with where those buildings stand.
Right.
There is a snack shack there that we're contemplating what we should do with it, because it's not in the best
Mhm.
condition. We just put a brand new roof on the cottage that's on the property. And that was in that 15,000 as well. We did also, we were awarded money from the town of Litchfield under what do they call that? The ARPA.
The ARPA funds?
ARPA
Yeah.
funds. I believe that will cover us for the windows possibly and the well.
Big deal.
Yeah. So we're excited about that.
Okay.
The payroll also, the increase in minimum wage.
Right,
is-
right. And that's something that we've been contending with over the past couple of years, and we're going to continue to contend with until it's at whatever it's going to be. But, you know, the minimum wage has been an incremental increase.
How much is the season pass right now over there?
I think I'm sorry, I don't have all that information with me. but I
It's
think about-
65. It's
Yeah, that's what it
65.
goes, 65 for resident.
And 100 for non-resident.
So 65 for residents, so it's still the best deal in town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the swim lessons are, what are they, $15 or $20 a week
It's either
or for 2 weeks?
$10 a head for 2 weeks of
Yeah.
lessons. I
Right.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's very reasonable as well. And basically our mission statement has always been to teach kids water safety. And that's our primary reason for being.
Right, right.
And you're known all over the place in this area for having these wonderful swimming classes.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
We've talked to generations of folks who have learned to swim at Sandy Beach. So,
I think I learned to swim there many, many, many moons ago. Okay. And then so this is the liability insurance is the 3411.
No, that's.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry, workman's comp.
the liability insurance does not show here because it's being paid by
By the
the,
town.
Pounds, right, that was my question,
Right.
right.
That's what I was asking, if we'll see that number jump
What,
on when we see the line items.
I don't,
what, the liability?
Yeah, if we see an
I
increase.
don't think it was a big,
yeah,
for the towns, I don't think it was that big.
And then for the town funding on the top, the third number down, is that something that we split just down the middle with?
No. so 1/3, 2/3 split, 1/3 being Morris, 2/3 being Litchfield. And I think they did that based on population or something.
Okay.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and again, a policy that's been in place way before
That agreement was.
me.
right. So that's actually not, I did not see that spelled out in here, in the agreement that,
Well, there is no language in there that I saw that states. They state that they will fund us if we need money, kind of. I think that kind of says.
Right.
It's kind of how it's written. But we've always had a commitment of what each town has sent us every year. And that does not appear in here.
And
Right.
do you bring that budgetary number to the towns and say, this is what we're requesting for?
Well, again, it's pretty much had happened the same way that it's happened here. You know, we've operated kind of like on a rubber stamp type thing. Every year we've been given the same amount of money.
A little pain right there.
So, yeah, but you know, with the changes and the things that have happened at the beach as far as, you know, Mother Nature with the trees and now, you know, like I said, our base pay for our kids are continuing to go up every year till we get to that $15 mark.
Mhm.
So, you know, that partially contributes to the negative 13,000 as well. But as I said, we have operated in the past within the scope of what we've been given, money wise. And we, you know, we're conscious that way. I mean, we're all taxpayers as well.
sure,
And, you know, I think one of the things we'd like to see happen with the renegotiated lease is the possibility of having someone, because we did have someone that was operating a boat tour out of the beach. And they were basically just picking people up and taking them out for an hour or two and dropping them off. They parked, they pay for parking at our place. And the person that was doing this was generous enough for use of the facility like that to give us $5,000 at the end of the season. That is no longer gonna be available to us because unbeknownst to us, the lease had language in there that no commercial entity should be operating out of the beach. So, you know, I would like to see them to reconsider that because if someone can provide the insurance that's required.
Yeah.
And the commission can deem it a safe scenario, which we have someone on our commission who goes to the beach every day and has for the past probably Denise 50 years or whatever. And she said she didn't even know that they were operating out of there. And
Yeah.
believe me, she would say something if she thought it was disruptive. So, that's something I think we would like to see consideration given to in the negotiation of the lease, because something like that is a nice chunk of change that the towns don't have to be on the hook for. And if we can keep the money that we're asking for to be at a minimum, I think everybody wins in that scenario.
Okay, that's not the $5,000 not reflected in here, right?
No, because our last season was not included in last.
Okay, so so I guess the ultimate question here for the finance board is, do you anticipate an increase in your ask this year, or? you try to
To
maintain-
be honest with you, we have a meeting coming up this month, and I know that will be on our agenda. We have not had a discussion where we've come to a determination on that yet. I would like to see us just go, if everybody would be agreeable to it, I would like us to just stay status quo and see where we end up. I mean, I don't know if that works in a fiscal scenario, on your end. But if we did need more money, I guess that where it comes from would have to be, on your end. So,
We call on the department heads every year, and most of them just we do talking points, because if the
Mhm.
public asks us, so we don't look like idiots.
right,
Just ask them what their difference was, but I don't think if there's a big difference, we don't even really need to have.
Well, I would say if there's no difference, we
Yeah,
wouldn't have
We
it
wouldn't
back
have
in.
to-
right.
If there's an increase, depending on what it was, we may.
Yeah, it could be a phone call to you
Just
too.
to justify it or whatever, say this is the reasons why.
Oh, of course. We would never just give you a
but-
number and say, yeah, we just need more money. It doesn't-
We've seen that a few times.
Well, that's not how we operate.
One of the rest of them.
Why? Well, because we didn't even want it.
So,
By any chance, were you around the last time the lease was renegotiated? Do you have any idea of how much it went up last time, when that was?
I think I was in high school, actually, to be honest.
Oh, my goodness.
It was a 25-year lease, so.
Okay, no, it wasn't high school.
I don't believe the lease is, I mean, what is it, 20?
It's a weird number, $2,414.
For some reason, I remember 1,500 or 1,000 the last
Yeah.
time. But that was 25 years ago, and
Yeah.
it's not a significant
Well,
amount when it comes to the size of the facility and stuff.
Right.
Right.
And White Memorial is not looking to make money, obviously,
No.
by what they charge us. And I can't imagine that they would all of a sudden have a different
Attitude.
view.
They can't be.
Yeah.
Right, because they still have to, if you guys leave, they get to maintain it.
Right,
So they get.
Or
to-
let it grow in, either way.
yeah.
Well, yeah, it would just be. They would probably get pushback.
They probably
Yeah.
get about $8 million for the property.
I don't think they can.
Actually, White Memorial
They can't.
was the first entity involved with the commission before the towns.
Cannot.
So they actually backed out of being, directly involved,
Huh.
and the towns took their place.
Yeah, I don't foresee them wanting to make it difficult for you guys to continue.
Okay. And this agreement, not that there's fine print, but in the back of it says this is a 5-year agreement. Can be renewed to, let's say, 20 years.
Mhm.
You guys will be here for that. See you in 20 years.
Hopefully,
Do anything.
God willing.
Yeah, so
That's already.
hopefully on this earth still.
this was a request at our last meeting that we bring you guys in to
Mhm.
just kind of have a conversation, see,
Oh, we're happy to.
yeah, see where your
Okay.
income and expenses were and just because we haven't really, I think, ever had the opportunity
Yeah.
to chat with you guys.
And also, I believe this agreement does specify that is to occur going forward.
Yeah.
Once a year.
Yep.
With both boards of finance.
So I don't have anything, any other.
No, I'm good. That's
Dell, Carrie?
pretty cut and dry.
That's it.
Okay.
Fine.
Well, appreciate you guys coming in.
No problem. We appreciate your support.
that stuff over there.
And I guess let us know, if, on the lease agreement and, obviously let us know if any increases you anticipate.
Okay.
You guys have any Boy Scouts go over there to do any projects ever?
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually had a member that had a son that was involved, but she had since,
Because we have Troop 20 out here and there's a couple Eagles coming up, so
yeah.
we always do little projects.
Oh, yeah, if we ever get approached, we actually got approached by an Eagle Scout candidate. And he wanted to do something, but I don't think White Memorial wanted. He wanted to make some better type of a walkway from the back. There's like a back parking area to come through. to
It's
the
muddy.
beach.
Yeah.
And I don't think White Memorial wanted anything to be touched. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, that didn't work out.
All right.
Okay.
But there's, we have lots of picnic tables that are in disrepair, or we need new ones or repairs.
Most of them, they had, they bought 10 picnic tables and the scouts went in just as a group project and threw them together and stained them and.
Yeah.
So I know the scoutmaster, if they're looking, I'll just pass your name off.
Yeah,
Cool.
feel free.
right.
Kip has my email.
Yeah, I do.
All right,
All right, all
Thank
right,
you.
thank you very much, you guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, the next item. Rick, if you want to take this, it's all the reporting. Here is the tax collector report. Seems
fine.
fine. Anybody have any questions? I don't think so.
Nope.
Statement of actuals and estimated revenue. Anything you want to highlight here, Rick?
Make sure he's on.
Don't know if
He's on. Are you on mute there, Rick? You are on mute. You're on mute, Rick. You're talking.
I'm,
There.
you hear me now?
Yep.
I'm sorry. Yeah, so interest is doing really good. We just had a monster, November was a monster month for permits. We did $29,000 in permits. That's also good news. So we're over 50% in that bucket. But I think you got to keep going down a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, so right there in the 01 4300, you can see we have $19,000 worth of interest this year.
Yep.
So, I mean, I guess that's good news. Then building inspector fees at 55,000 on a plan of 70, that's good news. I mean, that's hit and miss. Somebody's doing a big job and that helps us a ton. I don't see anything really lacking. I mean, this is the big month for tax collection, so we'll know much, we'll know a lot better at the end of this month, or end of January, on how we're trending there, because we did raise up the collection rate, even though I don't think it's going to be an issue, but it's a lot different than it was last year. Right now we're at 50% of real estate conveyance. Again, these are all things that it's just a matter of a couple of sales and you make your goal, no issue. Transfer station seems to be doing fine. We do have a switch over with Greg out now, so, but everything, again, we're over 50% there. So all in all, I would say our collection rate is, we're at 55% year to date, and we're at
Yep.
50% of the year. So far, so good.
Okay.
Can I ask some questions to Rick?
Yeah.
Okay, for the transfer station 01-7028-700 miscellaneous, $1,476.44.
Can someone find that?
Scroll up.
Is that in the actuals? An
It's
estimate?
in the, yeah, so if you want me to first go over the statement of actuals, I have questions there. So let me ask you these. So 01-4100,
Oh, I think that's much higher. That's much higher. You're only at 46.
Yeah, 0141.
Yeah.
Keep going.
So it's
Up,
way up.
up. Oh, 0141.
So that has nothing to do with transfer station.
no,
No.
no, Rick, I just said because you weren't at that yet. I
Okay, I'm
didn't,
sorry. I'm just, no,
so
I'm sorry.
What's the account number again, Carrie?
01-4100-425-0.
State-owned property.
Yeah,
Yeah, now, can you just explain to me the minus $44,718.35?
So we were paid.
Because we got more money than we're supposed to.
Okay,
So what
The ne-
happened was there's something called municipal revenue sharing with the
Yeah.
state. And we got a check for $44,700 that we were never thought we were getting. So that's in that account right now, but I gotta understand why we have it. I don't see in any state report that we're supposed to get it. I cannot not putting into our monies. So that's what it came under. That fit best to put that money in, but it's a municipal revenue sharing account with the state. And that's what drove our normal amount that we get is the 11,872. So
okay.
this was state funded money that I don't know if the state had a great year and their revenue. I mean, if we got 44,000, I can't imagine what other towns got on that line item, but we still are researching that.
Yeah, in case that's an error, right? We don't want to, we kind
Yeah,
of
well,
want to
no,
somehow
yeah,
mentally flag it.
Yeah, exactly, because there's no form that I could find yet out there that that says it was something that was planned that we're gonna have in our budget, because obviously I would have put that in the budget and would have, gotten us, less taxpayer money.
right.
I understand.
So,
Okay.
so in this report, the minuses are actually
Pluses,
pluses.
yes, on the
Yeah.
top,
Means we're over.
on
Yeah.
the income side.
Correct.
The minuses on the output side are minuses.
Right.
Okay, got it.
Next,
Anything else on the,
So no, then my only other one is in the transfer station when you get to that.
okay,
go down to.
Are you talking about transfer station? Oh, good. That's that's on the overage report.
yeah.
Oh, good.
So that's it for the
The
incomes.
overages, I guess.
So we can, I don't know if you want to go through every one of these line items or not.
Only if you have questions. If you have questions, of course we can.
Well, let's jump over to the overages report, because I'm sure that's where the questions will come up.
But I do
the-
have this question about the transfer station.
Page two.
I get a little bit irked when
Right
there's
there. Oh, no.
quite a bit of money for miscellaneous. Anybody can say, oh, $1,700 over miscellaneous.
Where, what, who?
So the transfer station,
This is this,
There's only one. Transfer
Transfer
station repairs
station.
and maintenance.
no, this is in the monthly one.
Okay,
So
at the
it
end of
is,
the report.
do you want me
Transfer
to,
stations at the bottom.
yeah, at the very end. And it's number 017028-700. And it says
Okay.
miscellaneous minus $1,476.44.
Back up, you were on it, back. What number is it?
Yeah, right there.
Transfer station,
01-7028-700.
up one more, up one more page, Kip.
Yeah, one more
Okay.
page.
So 0,
this one?
Yeah.
700. Yep.
700, transfer, repairs and maintenance, that's what we were
No,
on.
no, so then
Go
it's
up one.
below.
Go up one.
Go, I got it wrong. Yeah, miscellaneous.
Where?
Where is, okay.
Are you talking about his expense, Carrie?
Yeah,
We have the
expenses.
salary,
Yeah,
emergency
expenses.
expense, okay. So it's
Expenses,
510.
I believe,
Up,
again,
Up another.
no,
Greg's water and toilet paper.
I mean, it does have.
He's- He's
that's
gone.
actually in there.
He's gone.
so, yeah, expenses, transfer station expense,
Expenses, is this the one?
yes.
510?
No, transfer
No.
station, miscellaneous, 0170. So let me go look at the page. I mean, I
Well, what's
think
the number you have written down? Because it
I
may be
have
on the next page.
$1,476.44.
Yeah, so she's talking about the repairs and miscellaneous.
Yeah.
It's-
Repairs and miscellaneous,
Sorry, 107028.
700.
Yeah,
Repairs and miscellaneous. Okay,
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
All right, Carrie, we see it.
we're over.
okay. Well, we're not over yet. So we have an encumbrance out there that Tom was gonna mention to you tonight. We have 3 dumpsters that are in need of welding.
Uh-huh.
So we want to get them repaired. And that's the correct account to repair them versus buying new dumpsters at $20,000 a piece. We have a welder that's gonna come in and fix 3 of them. So right now, that line item's showing over, but that $2,500 has not been spent. But there is a chance it will be spent to fix these dumpsters because they are definitely in need of repair. They can only do one at a time because we have to pull it off the lot, I believe.
oh,
But that's why that's showing $1,476.
The overage report, because it was on the overage.
So it is on the overage report.
Yes, it is. It's right
Yeah,
there.
it is. Yeah. So
oh, okay.
again,
Okay.
that's why Tom was gonna mention tonight. It's just that it's much, I think right now,
Please.
they still have good life to them, these dumpsters. And it's not worth not repairing them and keep the maintenance up on them. Again, to save the $20,000 overall per one. So that's the reason. Before Greg left, he gave him a list of stuff that he felt needed to get done, and that was on it.
Okay, great. I just wanted to know.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that was gonna be on the overage report, no problem.
Done buying plow blades?
Yes, they are.
Yeah, so you
Are
guys
they
knew
really?
about the
Because
plow
they
blades,
haven't
right?
been the last 3 years, huh?
You guys knew about the plow blade?
Blades. Yep.
Yeah.
Did we?
Yes.
Yeah, I think when Kyle came in last week or last
Yeah.
month. you
Oh,
brought
that's
it up.
right.
He
I don't-
buys the expensive ones and it saves us money in the long run. We
Yeah.
get it.
I see that. We only buy 3 a
All
year.
right, hey, when is, on a personal note, when is this new taxi val?
Done.
When is it, when does it actually, it's solid and final, correct?
What?
But are you jumping?
What are you talking
The
about?
numbers
I
that
think
went
you're
out.
talking
for
about the letters going out?
Yeah,
Letters
Well, we-
went out.
I know they went out because I got one, but when is the that those revenues are expected for next fiscal year from that? Can you do a preliminary assessment of what you think
The grand list?
the increase is going to be for the town?
It's not gonna be anything. That's what we do.
Yeah, because we're gonna set the
Yeah,
mill.
you guys
Board of
do that.
Finance.
I get it, but he's going to tell us the revenue generated and we can set a mill off of that.
Right.
Yeah, I think,
You confused me, Hunter.
that you put me in a tough spot there because I
No,
haven't.
no,
really-
you don't have to answer that.
Wait a minute.
No,
wait.
no, so, no, just be
What-
honest with you, I haven't really talked to the assessor because it's not,
Doesn't come from Rick anyways.
it doesn't come from me anyway, but,
No, it comes from the assessor, but
I
we'll
think
see
you
the
guys,
numbers.
yeah, I think you guys are gonna have. Again, I'd be speaking out of
A
turn.
45%
You don't have to go there.
You don't have
if you want
to.
Yeah.
Nope.
I wanted
The
to just,
assessor will give us the grand list.
right.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just wondering if that, we're gonna see the grand list on here, but when do we actually see the projected?
We'll see the grand list
Numbers.
before we start a budget, probably within the next
Yeah,
month.
so I think you guys are gonna be, yeah.
I'm just asking him instead of the tax collector, which is the wrong person.
Yeah, but we
Yes.
always
Thanks,
know
though.
that the tax collector, but the assessor, it's not the tax collector, the assessor.
Assessor.
The assessor will give us a grand list,
Yeah.
would be in like February.
Yeah, so the
This whole
letter.
thing is like on a, you got 30 seconds, but you have to go and get a letter out today to get to Massachusetts 4 days from now to be able to have a hearing. So
I saw hearing. I saw.
and that's a phone hearing and that doesn't give you anything, but then you have like another 30 seconds to go to the assessment board of appeals. So this whole thing is gonna be pretty much cast and so there will be changes.
Yeah.
People will appeal,
Sure.
but they'll go on the new grand list and she'll give us the new grand list based on the numbers that went out,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, I think the mill rate's definitely not gonna be hard to hit this year.
Well,
Oh, but we're still not raising taxes, so it's
We're
gonna
not-
take a little more math on the part of the Board of Finance.
That's what
Right,
I
so
mean.
can we,
That's what
before
I'm
we
saying.
jump
I don't
into new
think-
business, can we close this one out?
Let's close it.
Okay.
So is there any other questions that anybody had, or Rick, you wanted to highlight anything here on the overages?
Not really. I mean, unless you guys see something, everything seems to be running pretty smooth right now. The
I
only
mean,
thing
there's some
will
that
say-
are over percentage, like legal notices, but it's not
We knew that.
huge.
Yeah.
That one we did know.
The only thing I will say that you might see next month or by the end of the year, not to, and it might not pop till later in the year, is with when that one cold spell that came through earlier, some furnaces didn't fire up and we had to bring in emergency fixes for like $600. Especially I think at the highway, and it's a line item that does its trash and stuff, the repairs for the building. So, I mean, again, I know it's way too early to tell, but those are the kind of things that are not in a budget that could throw it off a little bit later. But that was it. There was like two, I think the firehouse had one and they had one, highway, but they were less than $700.
Okay,
What
That was
about the school,
repairs?
the busted pipes in the school?
I don't think that's us though.
no,
I thought we took care of the maintenance of the building. Or no,
No.
we don't now.
No, we don't.
I think in 20 we do, in region 20 we do. Maybe.
potentially. Okay, we off that?
Mhm.
So the select, so Tom's at a basketball game, is gonna try to make it, but he's not, so.
Can we set him free?
Can we,
Rick,
Rick, I think you're done here, unless you have any update.
it's your day off, man.
No, I'm good. I just, the only thing I would say is, on the update on the proposed highway projects,
Yep,
money available to get some of that stuff done. I know there's, that's gonna come up. We do have some CNR projects that we completed that we could add money back into the unassigned. You know, I know you guys are gonna be looking for different places for money if you want to get these projects done. And I could always help you, show you different spots that you have money that wouldn't add any expenses to the town. It's just the money that they already accumulated.
Perfect.
okay.
So,
Yeah, one of the things I was hoping to get is the last meeting we talked about. Is there any dates that some of this money that was would be coming from the state? If we don't get these projects done by a certain time, do those things expire?
yeah, and I think Tom was did Tom send you a letter today or no?
He just sent me the road, bridges and improvement plans, but it didn't have dates on.
Yeah, I don't think, and the only thing I was thinking too
usually
is,
it's 2 years.
Right.
yeah, but I don't know. I know he was trying to get them done this summer.
Yeah.
That's between him and you guys. And again, if I'm all set, I can definitely jump off. So
Okay.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you.
have a good one.
Thank
right.
you.
Yep, bye-bye.
Well,
Okay.
let's take a minute, seeing it's on the agenda. and talk about this little, we need $500,000 in December.
Yeah.
Wait, what's on the agenda? Because I'm
So
taking minutes.
So the next item is approved minutes
No,
from,
back up.
Oh.
I suggested, even though Tom's not here,
okay, this.
let's
item?
talk about this amongst ourselves,
Sure.
because we all were here pretty much when they came in December and said, we want $500,000. And
Well, to be fair, I don't think they said they wanted 500,000. That is the total cost of all the projects outlined.
what was he requesting for us to go to town meeting with? I thought he requested to go to town meeting for 500,000. Did I misunderstand that?
Hey, Kip,
Yeah,
it's halftime.
okay.
Okay,
Thanks,
So
Tom.
if you have some
Hey.
questions, I sent you the letter. I'm hoping everyone got a chance to read it.
I
Did not.
did not, no.
I left 8 copies up in the box for the Board of
Oh,
Finance.
Okay.
Okay, well, we'll go up in the box and get it, but no.
Kip, do you have the letter? I mean, you can probably read it to them.
You want me
In your
to?
email.
I'll get it. Halftime's only 10 minutes. We can go.
Halftime's over, so.
So this was the letter, Tom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
okay.
kind of outlines some of the timeframes that are required with the funding that's
I have it.
available.
Yep. So the East Shore Road Culvert project is, Well, local bridge funding covers 50% of the cost of the construction. The town will have to provide the balance. So that's a $740,000 project. Hunter had a question earlier.
Yeah.
Is the $740,000 the engineered estimate? For that?
Yes, that's a high-end estimate from the engineers. It's gonna be going out to bid later this month, with a 4-week window for the bids to come in. We were kind of expecting that to come in lower. There's some extras in that, estimate that we probably won't end up doing.
Nice.
Okay. And then, so we have approximately 168,000 on hand in our capital non-recurring budget. So we need an additional 200,000
Or whatever the difference is from the,
from the 740. Right?
Well, half of the 740 is gonna be, part of the local bridge program grant.
Yes.
So the town is only responsible for half of the 740.
370.
You see it in the letter there?
My question was, what's the time frame of this funding?
Which is.
Time frame is rather quick, due to the state is pulling back on these extended,
Okay.
370.
holding of monies.
26 in CNR gives us.
How long have we
I'm
had
sorry.
this, or we don't have this yet?
Am I talking now or?
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
was
we hear you.
asking the question.
Oh, I'm
but go
sorry. I
ahead.
just hearing other people. I can't, it's hard to tell on Zoom. So what's the question?
What was your question, Tracy?
My question was timeline and amount. Time and amount. Those are my two questions.
I think it's kind of spelled out in the letter there. I can't really read it, the size of the screen that I have. But the timeline, hopefully, is to go out to bid and probably do the culvert project this spring as early as possible. And then right after that, do the asphalt for East Shore Road.
Right. So if we take the 740, divide it in half,
So it's saying 200,000. So we don't have to do anything but 200,000.
yeah, 203,000 or so.
Yeah.
If it comes in at 740, it should come in less.
I need numbers and dates.
So
We did this.
when,
Because we,
so if we put it out to bid, Tom, when would we have an estimate?
We're hoping in February, mid to late.
Okay. And then based on that, we'll need to come up with around, the town will need to come up with around $200,000.
Yeah, based on the estimate. Yeah.
Or East Shore.
Just for that one culvert project. Right. The second project is after the culvert, it was recommended to repave East Shore Road. 668,000. We applied for a steep grant, which was 500,000. Which would require a match of 168,000 from the town, correct?
That is correct.
so now this says the paving project is to be shovel ready within 3 to 6 months from when the contract is approved. Has that contract been approved?
No, it hasn't yet.
Okay.
That's the
Okay.
total of all projects
Well,
after capital non-recurrent on hand.
So
okay,
So what I think Tom, so my thought is, and I think Tracy's asking the same thing. Are these in succession of when they should be done? And is there a timeline for the remaining 3? Or do these all have to get bid out?
Well, take the Looking Glass Hill Road off the, table right now. You're just really looking at the culvert project and the paving.
right,
And the culvert would go first. It kind of makes sense because you're tearing up the road, you're bringing in cranes, you're, doing a bunch of damage. And then right soon after, hopefully, the paving project would take place.
yeah. So that's $368,000 for those two projects that come from the town.
Yep.
And then the Looking Glass Hill, we don't have to do right away, but there was a 100% possibility, or the possibility of getting 100% reimbursement. But with the town would have to spend $26,000 to get the application in, which.
Yeah,
if-
what we're hoping to do is do the work for the application, which is the preliminary engineering. It really kind of lays out the format in which they're going to do the drainage, gives them a plan. And that's required as part of the application for the TRIP program. And the TRIP program does fund it 100%. And we just need to apply for it. There's a lot of competition. We're hoping if we're ready for it, they'll award it to us. But with
So
the
so that
work
would-
that's done on the application, the town crew can move forward and start doing a lot of the drainage work themselves because they'll have a plan to go by.
So there's a possibility of the $25,900 for the application that if we were not awarded that grant, the town would have to pay for that. Or it would be,
It's gone.
it's gone.
Well, it's not really gone because it gives you the plan to move forward with not only doing our own work, but also applying for other grants. You need to have the data. You need
Right.
to have all that together before you can apply for a grant.
Okay. So it's 368,000 plus another 25, let's call it 26. It's $394,000 for the road projects.
Yeah, it's a possibility. We have to talk with Rick and Kyle that we can possibly fund the application for the TRIP program out of TAR.
Okay,
So
I like that.
I'd really focus on the
The other
myself
two?
is the other two because the timeline involved with all this.
Okay. Thank you for that update. So what do you need from the Board of Finance? You need a approval to get these estimates? Because I think that,
No, we have the estimates.
well, the
Yeah.
740, put it out for bid.
No, well, what will happen is we'll get the bids back. Obviously, we'll have a better idea
Okay.
of what exactly it's going to cost. Then we got to look at the funding and,
Yeah.
obviously that's your job. And I threw out some stuff there. And I think Rick mentioned it about the unassigned capital non-recurring and the unexpended funds from other capital non-recurring projects or purchases that can be moved over is about 48,000. There's another $15,000 of interest generated in that account.
Right.
So here's just some ideas. I mean, it's just, there it is,
Yep.
something to think about.
Okay. And then the East Shore Road paving project, the estimate was 668. Is that being bid out as well?
Yeah, that'll be bid out.
Okay. So I guess we can't really do anything at this point other than
Wait,
once you get bids, we'll look at where we can find some money and see what the total cost is.
yeah, East Shore Summer. See this. Cool.
All right, thank you.
Enjoy the game,
You're
Tom.
welcome. Thanks.
All right, what's next on our agenda?
Well, can we go back to that for a minute? Just
Sure.
like looking at this stuff right now. Are we like the 200,000?
Mhm.
Well, after it's approved, it's 3 to 6 months or 3 to 6 months after it's approved. So February, March, April, May, June, July, August. So. And then the other 168,000, or no, the 168,000 is 3 to 6 months from approved for the steep grant, but that's not even put out to bid. We have this, maybe we'll get an estimate in February. So, I mean, I'm gonna go back to what I said before, is that this is a lot of money mid-budget season.
Agreed.
And so we have, currently, there's 276,639 unassigned fund balance. So for planning purposes,
Were you seeing that?
I kind of planned, you know, I mean, looking at when we finish the budget. Looking at the future. To clear out your unassigned fund balance and clear out your
All
CNR
right.
and do this. I mean, that's a lot of money.
Yeah,
Mid-budget.
it's gonna
Drain.
It's gonna drain the pot, but if he said, like he said, if he puts it out to bid. And you said, if he said up to 4 weeks on the bid, which gets us a month, which gets us to the end of February.
Right,
So they're not gonna touch the ground until the end of April. Frost and snow crap, so. We're gonna be closer to the ass end of it. Closer to the end of the fiscal year,
Right.
which will make me feel better, because right now it would
doesn't make, well.
hang ourselves if we spent what we have in capitals right now. I mean.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
going into this like
Yeah.
kind of not planned.
Sure.
So it's a lot and it puts us behind the 8 ball big time
Right, and
this
this,
year.
so stuff like this should be in our 10-year.
It should be more,
Thank you,
this is what we're planning on doing, then we're looking at
Well, we
this,
were-
and then we're looking at this. So
yeah,
that's what I'm getting at, is that we really can't let this happen.
fast,
Well, I think part of
Like,
this,
just, oh, well, we need $500,000, you know, like.
I get it,
This is
we
not an
gotta
thing.
more-
I'm with you,
so two things on that. I agree with you, Tracy, 100%. I think we were funding the East Shore Culvert project.
Right.
I think the $740,000
Right.
estimate is a
insane,
third more than what we were originally funding. So that cost went up significantly
Okay,
from when we were originally
It was-
funding it over the numerous years.
okay.
I wanna say
But
480.
we weren't funding it like, okay, but what was so we were funding East Shore Road.
We're
But we
funding-
didn't
I
have
don't
a date.
remember if that's on our
East Shore
capital
is
plan or
On
not,
our
It
capital,
is.
okay,
but there was never a date
No, it wasn't.
added to it.
okay,
So I think what Hunter and I are saying is,
It has-
yes, we were funding it, but it's not really fair to say, well, yeah, but we didn't hit the target. We didn't have a target to hit. We didn't
Yeah,
have,
agree.
well, this is gonna be 740,000.
because if that was,
We're expecting to get a grant, so we're looking that we ultimately want to do this in April of 2020.
well, if that was the case, we would have put more money aside,
Would have spent our money differently
absolutely.
last budget cycle.
Hey, Kip?
So,
Yeah,
Yeah, you know, you're talking about the 740,000. That has been a moving target.
Yep.
Prices
Yeah, well,
are
that's what I was just
escalating.
saying.
Well, yeah. And, you know, it's hard to plan for that. And also what happened was they weren't funding the local bridge program for a number of years. Finally, with a new tranche of money that came in from the federal government, they're able to fund this local bridge program. So you have an opportunity to get half the project paid for by the state.
Yep,
The steep grant, it was nothing we expected to get. We never
Right.
right,
expected it was coming down the pike. And for the town of Morris to get another steep grant for $500,000, we're quite lucky.
right.
So if you can get a road totally paved for $168,000, that's kind of a nice thing.
Well, right. And how many miles is that road?
yeah, we're not arguing that
2.6 or
fast.
so.
not that, it's
Yeah, we're just,
long-range planning.
Well,
That's what
well,
we're
that's what I'm
talking about.
talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. It's very hard to plan. It's like if you go out to bid for these projects and you say, I don't want to do it for 2 years. Well, guess what? You might be paying twice as much next time.
Yeah, well, right. So that was my point earlier. The $740,000 is significantly more than when we were planning for, and there was no particular date that we had to have it done by. It's just all circumstances.
But-
And the fortunate part is that the state is now kicking in some money.
We had hoped that project was going to cost us total a little over $400,000. Look where it is now.
Right.
yeah, and hopefully we'll see a decrease. In the 740,
I hope so, yeah.
I'm just saying for budgeting, this almost, we could do it tonight. But it has to be part of next year's budget. In the fact of, we can't just drop this money and then go into next year, okay, let's go. And you know what I mean? You have to put the numbers in perspective.
Sure.
And that's why I'm just saying, the closer, like you said, Hunter, the closer you get to the end of the year, the closer you are to the next year, it all becomes
Just
a
less risk,
flow.
less risk. Yeah.
So it's less risk when you have a better idea as time goes on and the budgets come in and we know, and our income and all
So-
that stuff.
Tom, you still there?
Still here.
Hey, so.
Got my earbuds in.
Yeah, so the East Shore Road paving project, it says summer, right? Ground or shovel ready in summer. So do you
Yeah,
think,
about,
you think that could be put into the 2023-24 budget?
depends on how everything rolls along. It is a reimbursement, grant. So you will have an expense before you get your money back. Just, you have to remember that too.
Yeah, I'm just saying that if we can get really creative with the other stuff that you mentioned with Rick, for finding fundage for the first part, then, you know, if it seems to be too much and we don't want to stretch ourselves and spend everything we have in CNR, the 276, 639, then if we could, if you guys think that we could extend that till summer, that would give us a little breathing room. Or till
Well,
next
we'll find-
fiscal year.
We may know a little more when the bids come in and how long the contractors will hold the bid price.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, so it doesn't have to be shoved down our throat in one fiscal year.
All I'm looking at
Yep.
is what's the, how
Yeah.
do we make this palatable without going out on a limb next week?
So what I hear you saying, Tracy, is we need, you know, to be fiscally responsible, we want to sort of plan these things out. And not have to chew all of it at the same time. But on the same token, we're also getting grant money from the
Well,
state.
we know we're getting grant money, but I think Hunter saw the same thing I did.
Yeah,
You're using unassigned fund balance, you're using this, that, you pretty much. If you
You're
do
not
that
using
now,
unassigned fund balance, just so you know.
Currently
It's
there is.
unassigned capital.
Capital,
CNR.
yeah, CNR.
It's not unassigned fund balance.
oh, my bad. So
So-
unassigned fund balance. Okay, that's CNR fund balance
Yes, unassigned CNR.
okay, it says 276
in unassigned fund balance.
in unassigned fund balance. That's what you
Okay,
wrote.
my bad then.
Okay,
Okay, so you're talking the CNR budget.
Yeah, we have like 1.6 million in our fund balance, so.
I thought that was a little afraid saying 276,000.
That's why I'm sitting here chewing on my lip, because I'm like, how much should we spend on a generator? How much should we? All right.
Yeah, I got a little nervous.
Tom, those-
Whoa. wait a
Tom, those
minute.
3 words gave us a little start, so now you get where we're coming from.
Right, like that's all the money we have left in the town, so if
Yeah.
something else happens.
I was like, we
oh,
gotta
well.
look that up.
yeah,
Get your
Alright.
MasterCard out,
Yeah, okay.
so you're dealing in CNR only.
Yeah, you probably added over $300,000 to the fund balance this after last fiscal year.
Right, I know we're
Yes.
trying to bring
So
this
we
in
got
our,
15 grand in interest, 19,000.
exactly,
Right.
because we have $1 million in that.
Yeah. Makes sense.
we have assigned, but
Yeah.
that's
Yes.
unassigned, and then, okay, so that's CNR fund balance.
You see, you guys did such a good job in the last budget by
Thanks, Tom.
propping up the capital non-recurring that you're in
We
this
can
position right now.
absorb, yeah, we can absorb these body blows, right?
It certainly helped, I gotta say.
Yes,
Certainly changes the discussion
Everything.
when you're not talking, that's the last amount of money the town had.
yes.
All right, cool.
All right. Thank you. Keep us posted on the estimates.
Wamogo's went in 31-24,
Which game?
girls varsity.
Nice.
Okay, Tom.
See ya.
Bye.
I should be there.
Okay. Approved minutes from last meeting?
What, from 12:08?
Yeah, those were sent around. I thought I had a copy of those.
I wrote them, right?
You did write them.
You did.
And
I'll
you-
make a motion.
And you made
to
'em
approve
pretty.
the minutes as
Okay.
written.
Anyone want to second that?
I will.
Hunter will second it. All those in favor? Any opposed? Not hearing opposed.
Sweet.
New business?
Yeah, I have a few things, Kip.
Sure.
I wrote to you earlier about some questions. Could you please go over with us? There's so many people that have quit and come back and have other people, new people have quit, people have died.
Yep.
Chairman is different. Can you say what we have? First say who's on the board now.
Okay, so this was part of the new business. As you alluded to, Dave Fenn has resigned as of January.
What was his resign date?
I told him to not resign until 15th, I think, of December.
Oh dear, that puts us in a predicament, doesn't it?
I don't know the exact, I have to go, I don't know
That
the
puts us
exact,
in a predicament, doesn't it?
But how come we were never notified?
because I wasn't sure when he was going to resign. He was saying he was going to resign, he was gonna put in his resignation.
But he didn't give it to you.
He did not give it to me.
Okay.
Okay, well, that puts. us in-
Because he had to, I told him he needed to submit it to the town with a wet signature. The town clerk.
But the town clerk never told us and nobody ever told us, so we don't know.
We
but
don't know.
We
Town
have
clerk
30
doesn't tell
days
us
to
anything anymore.
fill, and considering this is January 10th, we have to fill.
Well. So, yes. And
I'm just pointing it out. Like,
It is.
if it was December 15th,
5 days.
yeah,
we got 5 days.
would you be interested in? Becoming a full non,
Yeah, we discussed this with Scott. If somebody wasn't able to fulfill the obligation, I think Scott Popbecker and I said that we would fill in. I can do it until spring, until the marketing season kicks open. And then Scott would be able to fill that slot and exchange roles with me again, if you guys are comfy with that.
So we're not looking at a permanent spot. I mean, basically.
No,
we're
I'd
looking at
be-
you
well,
two.
it would have to be,
No, would,
it would have to,
No, I'd be permanent, but here's the thing. I travel. I don't know my travel itinerary in the spring.
Right.
Talking March, starting late February, March until June, sometimes August. So as long as Scott is an active and valid or like trust or member we know can come in and be here, which he said he could after the EMT classes. We'll have him as a backup. But I could stay as a full member as long as we have enough folks on the board in the wings to show up and run the
we
meeting.
have to fill an alternate.
Yeah, to fill an alternate slot. And Scott said he would do an alternate
Well,
slot.
Scott is an alternate,
he
right?
is.
An alternate
currently an
now.
alternate.
So
Yeah,
nothing
yeah.
changes with Scott tonight.
Yeah.
Because he can't really be committed to being here
Till
until
April.
Right. And I said I could be totally committed until
April.
end of March. Yeah, well, I will do it until April. But I'm just gonna tell you that if events show up and I have to travel for work, then we will need to use Scott to fill my shoes.
And we need
Or-
another alternate.
Or,
We
have
just,
to-
you only get 2 alternates,
or I'm the alternate on the road and I call in.
but we
Yeah,
need to fill
we need to fill
No.
Dave's
position.
I'll fill Dave's position today and then we'll figure it out.
So
And
I
then we
make a
have-
nomination to appoint Hunter as the permanent position for Dave Fenn.
I second that.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay.
We already know that
congratulations,
Scott-
Hunter, you're back.
All right,
Sorry.
so
We already
Carrie,
know
to-
Scott
bad.
is an alternate, so we have to find another alternate.
correct,
Now we have an open
Open
alternate
alternate position.
position.
Right.
Right. But now we have from January 10th till,
30 days.
we don't have to do that tonight
Tonight.
because Hunter hasn't vacated. Does he have to? Now, I always get this.
Yeah,
confused,
so
and I
I
apologize.
was,
Do you have to quit
yes,
being an alternate? You have to quit being an alternate.
I
Yeah.
think
You
I
have to
have
go
to
into the-
formally quit. I'll type an email up. I'll send it to I'll hand carry it into the town hall.
That's right.
Yeah.
Take it with the minutes so she knows you're seated in the
Yeah,
full
yeah,
position.
okay.
mean, you've got to go in, physically sign a piece of paper in front of Lori. And then she'll give you the piece of paper to also to sign stating that you're now a permanent position.
I got it. Yep.
I
Yeah.
had to do that when I was an alternate and then became a full-time participant.
Same,
Because you have.
same thing here,
The
Adele.
minutes will show that we
Yeah.
voted on it. So
Yep.
if you're doing the minutes, bring your minutes with you to say, this is what they did. And then you can just do it all in one
I'll
shot.
send the minutes to you.
Yeah.
And then you kick them to her, she'll have them.
Okay,
For that.
so Carrie, to go back to your question, so I am the
Okay.
chairman, we
Mhm.
have Tracy, we have
Mhm.
Phil. We have
Carrie,
Hello?
Carrie, you, Adele.
Yeah.
Hunter.
Dave was on, now he's being replaced by Hunter. And then Scott Potbecker as an alternate.
right.
So
Now,
the
the
only-
next alternate that we get, does it have to be a specific party?
I don't think so.
It
No,
didn't make
because
any
you're
difference with
Republican.
you,
Yeah.
Kip, so
I'm sorry?
I don't believe it
Hunter,
made
you
any
fit
difference
in
when
the
you became an
Republican
alternate.
seat. Right. So
I'm sorry, Adele.
Okay, what I'm trying to say is
they have.
when whoever resigned before, and I can't remember who it was now. Oh, no, when Christine passed and then, I took Christine's place.
Yes,
And because I resigned as an alternate, you took my position basically.
yeah,
And then
My
Chris, and then Chris quit.
That's
And,
right. Chris
and
quit.
then then Kip became
Chair.
a chair and then Hunter and Scott came in as alternate.
Okay,
well,
my
Hunter
question
was
is,
always an alternate.
I've been on the
Right.
board for 7
yeah,
years in
yeah,
some
yeah.
form or another.
so my question is, does it have to be a Republican, a Democrat, or an independent?
I don't think we are weighted one way or the other too much.
Because I know that was some of the controversy when you came on board.
Yes.
Some people
Well, the
were saying, oh, no,
controversy-
it's got to be this, that's got to be
Yeah, yeah.
that.
So Adele, the controversy or the question was, does a exiting member have to be replaced with the same party?
Exactly.
And that is not an issue.
That's not,
That you-
okay.
That you have to have a minority, a certain amount of the minority. So it does make a difference. So let's, Dave left, he was a Republican. Hunter's coming in, he's a Republican. So it makes no difference.
Correct.
Right. Now, but the alternate,
Well,
Does
the
it have to
alternate
be
could be a Republican or a Democrat.
Scott is a
Okay.
Democrat. Scott
Yeah.
is a Democrat.
So it doesn't make any difference. I mean, that's my
Correct.
question. As long as, let's say I knew somebody that was interested in being an alternate, and I'm just speculating, I don't know anybody. And let's say that person was a Republican. I can say, or, this person can come to the meeting and say, I'd like to be an alternate.
Yep.
Is that in our
yeah.
Bible?
Pardon?
Yeah.
It's in there. It's in our book. I've got the book on my nightstand. I can flip through it so that we're a little more informed.
Well, there was a whole,
There was a whole,
Tom,
attorney.
briefly with an attorney's.
You want the book?
Yeah, the attorney basically
Opinion.
said, the attorney's opinion said it didn't pass.
No.
That's right.
The
Tom had-
question was, if someone leaves, does it have to be replaced with the same party? And the answer is no.
Get the
Right.
attorney-
Tom
you have
had
people-
five
You
Yes.
can't have a board that's all Republican,
Absolutely.
all Democrat. So
Absolutely.
it has to have
exactly.
representation
Wait,
from
wait,
both
okay.
parties.
Yeah, I don't have.
I mean,
I
what
don't
are
think
we
I had a
aboard of?
percentage number.
What are we aboard of now?
So
Or-
Carrie, you're kind of an independent, right? Registered independent or libertarian?
Yes, yes.
All right.
So am I. But I'm backed by the Democratic Party, but I'm a registered independent.
You, Tracy?
Republican.
So Tracy's a Republican. I'm a registered Democrat. You are a registered Republican and
Scott's
Scott is a Democrat.
So we're kind of 50-50.
Yeah.
We're balanced. That's excellent.
Yep, exactly. Great. That's all I needed to know.
Do you have a
Full
copy
represent-
of that legal opinion?
Not with me, but I do.
I mean, if
How
you
much
remember,
it's Back over again.
Ryback sent us all a letter
Yeah,
at Tom's request stating that it didn't make any difference who did what, when, where, and how. Or if you
correct.
got caught or you didn't get caught. I mean, I'm just being sarcastic there, but, Rybeck sent us all that same letter stating, it didn't make any difference what party you belong to.
And he stated or referenced the statute.
Right, right. So, I mean, so now we just have to find somebody that's interested. It doesn't make any difference what party they're affiliated with. As long as they're interested in participating and being an alternate member of the board.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that takes care of that. Problem
Okay.
solved.
My next question is, when there's alternates that have shown up at a meeting,
Mhm.
but there are 4 people,
Yes.
that makes a quorum.
Well, you have to have 4 people for a quorum.
Mhm.
Yes, do you seat somebody even if
Yes.
we have a quorum?
Mhm.
Yes, you do. Yes.
You do, okay.
Well,
And
if there's,
so
if there's,
If both alternates show up and we have a
Quorum.
quorum, we seat everybody.
I do the math. What?
don't have-
We
No,
will always,
no,
I will-
no.
so we only
How many
see
regular members do we have? We have Kip.
6.
5, 6,
6.
with Scott.
Well, no, we have 6.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
anything under
Members.
6, if all the members, the regular members show up,
Yes,
you don't seat an alternate.
correct.
If we miss one regular member and both alternates show up, you seat one
One
alternate.
alternate.
If
Yes, and we've
4
done,
show up, so we try to get to 6 at every meeting. That's our magic number.
Ah,
you have to have a
I think
minimum,
Kip, Terry, down.
so you have to have a minimum, Carrie, of
Under,
4
yeah.
people to make a quorum. Those
Right.
4 people can be 4 of the regular members, or it can be 2 regular members and 2 alternates.
mhm,
But you have to have 4. And if all 6 regular members show,
mhm.
the alternates can have a voice,
They can't vote.
but they cannot vote.
So how about if 4 regulars show
You
and
seat the-
2 alternates show, that
You
would
can
make
s-
6, so you could
Yes.
seat the 2?
Yes.
Correct.
right.
Got it, I understand now.
I would
And
seat any
being
time as an
seated-
alternate.
Right. And if 2 alternates are seated, because we have a total of 6, those 2 alternates can vote.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay.
Now, next question. Can a chairperson vote?
Yes.
You want the formal Roberts on that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Have you read the formal Roberts?
I've read the formal Roberts, but you probably are more
Well,
can
now-
articulate it better. But for instance, the selectmen, there's only 3.
We don't care about the select.
Well, I'm just saying.
So
He can be seated.
You can be seated, yeah.
what? Who?
Well, I'm just using a smaller group of people. No, no,
About
it's just-
chairman.
I'm just-
Selectmen's always seated.
yeah.
They don't have alternates.
No, I'm saying on the board.
The
No.
board
Did
is
they
still,
stand in for you?
No,
No.
Selectmen?
no, selectmen has
No.
no voting power here.
separate. I was just
Ever.
using that as an
They
example.
Oh,
can't
it's
be
like that's-
seated,
Like the first selectman can vote, even though there's 2 other people. on
not
it.
here, though.
Not
We're
here.
talking
I'm just
about
using it
here.
as an example.
Bad example.
Okay,
Yeah, you gotta be really
Rules.
scared there, Kip.
No, I'm sorry.
You got the bad example.
I'm just using it as an example
I'll
where,
be Chelsea, then.
okay, go ahead, Tracy.
The Robert's rule says that the chairman should not vote unless to break a tie. However, Robert's rules does not prohibit the chairman from voting. But Roberts also suggests that the chairman allow the members to speak first and not vote until the end.
No, to not,
They vote.
To not sway.
yeah, that makes
Do
sense.
not, you are not as a chairman to sway. You are supposed to bring it to the table, sit back, let discussion happen, and then move the meeting that way. That's why
Speaker of the House, though.
Yeah.
I said Roberts.
I know.
That's why I wouldn't like making motions.
Yeah.
The chairman can make motions, but
Right.
they shouldn't make motions.
Sure.
That's not
So I don't know.
acting in the Roberts.
Right. So Tracy and I actually had a discussion about this. And I don't know if
I told
anybody's,
you, right?
That's exactly what you told me.
Already then.
I don't know if anybody's noticed, but I have not made motions.
I've noticed.
Okay, great.
But Roberts is not specific on prohibiting the chairman,
Sure.
which is why you have the speaker's house. Prohibiting the chair from
Making a motion
making a
and a voting.
motion and or voting.
If you all remember the night that, what's his name? The guy that did the audit,
Dave,
Dave?
Dave,
Yes.
Dave came in. He basically said exactly word for word what Tracy's just saying. And I
Yeah.
can remember him distinctly saying, I've never sat in on a meeting where the chairperson has made a motion or the chairperson has voted. I mean, so he was indicating that basically the chairperson just kind of sits back, puts their hand behind their head and says, yeah, okay, I'm gonna just let this float, unless it's really needed, like you said, to break a tie. That's when the chairperson.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're such a small group, though, having that input is necessary, so I get it. You can have it both ways. Yeah, makes sense. So Kip,
Did you?
You're doing a good job.
you're doing a
All
good
right,
job.
trying.
and
Yeah.
And it was a learning moment for sure.
I was gonna
And I
say,
know
I
Tracy
think Kip was fed a
side-
little bad
Yeah.
information and he was new at the job, so.
Yeah.
You'll know when to jump in and smack heads around, basically.
Yeah.
'Cause,
And when
Yeah,
Tracy
yeah.
pokes with the hat pin, you're done.
well, you get to happen, honey.
Yeah. Did that answer your question, Carrie?
yes, that did. Thank you.
You're
So
welcome.
now I really just, yeah, I know you sent me the statutes and I've read the statutes, but I just want to go over one more time. And I know I repeat this, I'm sorry, but we have three things to do and 3 things to do only. And I should actually ask this as a question. I'm under the understanding that we are to do the budget. We are
Yep.
supposed to take care of the overages
Mhm.
and we're supposed to do the mill rate.
Yeah, so just for everybody's clarity, we went over this in October, but we received the budget estimates from the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Education. And we bring in people as needed and we make a final recommendation to the town for approval, a referendum and approval on the budget. In doing so, our second thing is to set the annual mill rate, the property rate. Our third thing is to approve deficiencies and special appropriations and budget transfers between the town departments. It's kind of more towards the end of the year.
That's still a matter of debate with the board, because we say line items, but.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, I
Yeah.
think
No,
we
this
voted
is,
line
that's
items.
this is a really big, this is one of my big questions. So could you two talk this out loud?
Oh, I said, when he said departments and Hunter said departments, I said, I think there's a bone of contention within the Board of Finance where we say line items. Not
Right.
only bone of contention, we actually voted for it to stay line items.
Yeah, okay, okay, all right.
Yeah.
And then the overages of town, we supposed to be overseeing the town's accounting systems, policies and procedures, so. That's kind of done by, the accounting system is done. Technically
Same
by
accounting
Rick.
system.
Yeah, and Rick,
Same accounting system.
when we discussed
We
it,
can't change it without our approval.
yeah, Rick reports to us when he sees any glaring errors or deficiencies in the report,
And
like he
then,
did tonight.
and then our final
Part of it now.
responsibility is to engage an independent audit for our annual audit.
Okay, so I want to go back
Do
to
a,
the,
year-end
the,
report too.
so, the way it's done, because the way, since I've been on the board for 5 years, we get a budget that is done by the selectmen. And then we get it, and we're allowed to speak to the people from the different departments after they've gone and spoken to the selectmen.
And
So.
that's not right.
No, well, that's not
So
exactly
I'm
accurate.
wondering how,
What do
let's
you mean
make
it's not
believe
accurate?
this is our
What's not
first
accurate?
year.
It's not to the
That's the
select.
way it's been, Kip. Since Tom has
right,
taken
so
office.
that-
Yeah, that's what
so-
he's been doing.
So my understanding is that Tom and the selectmen and all the departments put a proposed budget together that comes to the Board of Finance. So it's not a done deal. It's not final.
That's not the question she's asking.
So the budget is given to us to review from the selectmen.
Well,
Currently, yeah.
currently,
Yeah.
however, I was gonna bring that up tonight because it's gonna be, remember how we've kind of had it somewhat easy for the past few years? And we could come in, we could look at it, maybe have them come in and go, yep, rubber stamp it and I'll go home by 8:30. This year's not gonna be that case.
Yeah, but
And
Met with,
I
we always
think-
met with committees.
Yeah, we can,
Well,
well,
but before, wait, stop. Prior to this new and exciting way of doing things and getting the budget sometime like the end of March and having sort of a month to kind of do it. Why can't we get people in earlier and get ahead of it? So that I think this year is gonna be a tough year. It's like, why do we have to wait? Which also kind of seems silly because the first selectman comes to every one of our meetings. So he meets with them all and then puts the budget together. And then we meet with them. Well, we wait until all that's done and then we meet with them. It's like, can we get
I don't
a
know,
jump on things?
but I don't know that he meets with all the department heads.
right.
I think they
Fine.
submit their proposed needs to them to the selectmen upstairs. I don't think,
Why are we waiting for that step? I'm saying it's gonna be a tight year. There's gonna be we're gonna have harder meetings than, oh, that looks good, okay. Couple questions, go on. You've been at the meetings where we've had to make cuts. I'd like to get ahead of it as much as we can. And instead of waiting till April and then,
so I agree, but I also like the fact that when they present the budget to us, Tom, Vinny, the selectmen that have a great understanding of what the needs and the requests were. So that kind of eases, they ask the big ticket items, like, what do you need that for? I mean, they do ask questions beforehand. I don't think it's formal. They may go to the department or email back and forth, but I think they do a lot of the scut work that we don't do.
why
The
don't-
only person that we met
But we
with,
gotta know this budget. So why don't we? I'm
So,
just saying like,
I like having the rough draft in front of us.
so you want.
And we do bring in, we brought in several departments.
Oh, yeah.
last year.
Oh, yeah, and we had our
For years.
meetings and then we ran, and what I'm saying is, you might find, and you can write this down, take a note. That if we do it on this timeline, you're not gonna have 1-hour meetings. Because you're gonna be making hard decisions, because
Yeah.
we're not gonna be able to fund the magic funding that we have been. We already know we're behind the 8 ball going in. So we're gonna have to make some decisions that may require more than, yeah, looks good. Oh,
Tracy, it's
okay."
gonna be a repeat of 18, 19.
Yeah.
It is, not as rough, I hope.
But you understand,
Yeah,
those meetings were not 1 hour long. Everybody's tight, go home.
And we're every week.
We were
Or
every
twice a
week
week.
and we were here till
Special
10,
meetings.
11, and that's when we started it in February.
Yeah, we have special.
So I'm just saying, is there any way to get a jump on some of this instead of waiting for the whole selectmen and da-da-da-da-da-da?
Sure.
Maybe, no, that makes sense. Maybe we ask the departments when they do come in with their request, that they immediately, we get copies or
We
you get a
get
copy.
yes.
So we can do a preliminary run. And Carrie, I know you love it because you know your line items. You seem to chew on the stuff that looks funky. So that might make sense.
Or at
It
least do
just
it.
really, it's
At
really,
least get
it's
a
helpful
copy of it
It's-
and
it's
get
also-
ahead of it.
to get this information from the different departments directly is really good, because when you speak to mommy or daddy and there's good cop and bad cop, what's happening now is that Tom is the good cop. So they go to daddy and he says, yes, yes, yes. And then we get to see them if they have time to come in and see us. And then they've already been told yes. So
Well,
they get upset and start pouting if we start
Come
asking
anyways.
questions and want to say no.
Well, that's too bad.
Yeah,
We're
I-
Board of Finance, we don't care.
yeah,
that's-
I don't-
Your feelings.
No, our world should be black and white, and that's all there's. to it.
and
But you know what I'm
Well,
saying? I just
but-
want to get wherever we can get a jump.
Yep, so we can ask them. We just ask them for copies of.
Copies of the
Yeah.
budget.
That's
Question.
great. That's great, Hunter. I love that.
yeah.
The only,
I
the
don't have a
only
problem.
It's
person,
your idea, but hey, thanks.
the only person that I
Hunter,
recall
you're a
actually
freaking
coming
genius.
in
Bless it, I love having you back.
last
Yeah,
year
that's my
was,
big brain.
We can't all talk at once. What were you saying, Adele?
Sorry, we got.
um,
sidetracked.
the only person that I actually remember coming in last year was Kyle. He's
No,
the
we
only
had the
person,
library, we had,
Yeah.
Well-
we had the
Beach and rec.
and beach and rec.
I must have been either in La La Land
we
or I must have
definitely had
been
the fire
working with the
department in.
beach
Wait,
and rec.
no,
Oh,
I,
we did?
we had,
Okay.
we had, if you recall, we had a huge contentious conversation with the pension people.
I was-
Oh, yes, I'm
no.
sorry. I stand
Oh.
corrected. I do stand corrected. Yes,
Yeah,
because that's
forgot
the night
that
I,
one? Are you
that's the
kidding
night I
me?
blew up and
Yeah, we had,
There you
the-
go.
we had the library.
We were talking
And we had,
bibliographs,
we
fire
had beach
trucks.
and rec. They all,
Yep.
they came in. They
Yep.
came
Okay.
in, but there were these these conversations that would have been much easier to have and much faster if we get the copy at the same time that the selectman gets it. We come and have a meeting and we can talk about it amongst ourselves
Sure.
before we have to have that person come in
That's
and
perfect.
sit with us.
Yeah.
We did that, but we can do it a little earlier.
Yeah, I can make that request.
Remember those days
Yeah.
I,
when we had to call?
I-
Like, for instance,
I stand-
Tom has already alerted us that the school budget will probably be an increase,
Yeah, we know that.
right? So, but we can't really we don't have a budget there. They haven't put that together, but we could have them submit a preliminary
Oh,
budget.
We don't need to
actually,
I'm
Kip,
talking about
the
just.
only person who's amazing at being on time, saying
The
I'm
school.
he's
It's
coming
the
in,
school.
is Chris Leone. So,
Yeah. Well,
we
his
don't
budget
have-
has to be approved before the town budget.
yeah, and that's
But
easy.
they have their budget, and he
Yeah.
doesn't go before, I mean, he'll do his little.
He's a little more transparent than the previous administration, so
Yes.
it'll be smoother.
It's,
Well, he already has
he's
the numbers.
amazing.
Yeah,
I mean, I think he already has the numbers. They're not finalized, but he can pretty much tell you what they're gonna be. And we do get money back. So,
all right, so Hunter, you wanna make a motion on that, or do you
To
want?
what?
I don't think we even have to.
I
Okay.
don't think we
Well,
have to.
I
I
will-
think you're just gonna get,
Yeah.
if we can get a copy of the
Okay.
budget.
We're not gonna make
as
it
they
a
come in.
formal request every year. We could just ask nicely and say, hey, when they come in, can we get a copy?
Right,
Yeah.
we'd like to review them in an informal fashion.
Nah, you know what?
Make lists,
I think a
questions.
motion needs to be made that as soon as those budget requests come in by each committee, that they are forwarded immediately to the Board of Finance, or to Kip, I should say, and then Kip can forward them on to us. Because otherwise I have a feeling they're just gonna sit on Tom's desk and, oh, wait a minute, we have a week before the Board of Finance meets, so I'll forward them along. And that doesn't give us any time to discuss anything.
Now,
Okay.
Adele, do they go to the selectmen or do they go to
Tom,
fiscal office?
they go to Tom, I think.
They go to Tom. Come on,
Okay.
Hunter, you know that everything goes to Tom.
I don't know
I mean,
that.
well,
Or they go to the fiscal office and he can send us a copy.
Right.
Yeah,
Whoever
I mean-
gets the copy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what we have to figure out who the.
I mean,
who
I
the-
believe that I believe that all of these requests are forwarded to Tom directly. And then it's up to him to forward them on to us. And I
Hunter,
think there's
Hunter,
a delay.
at the meeting last year, Tom told us that he had met with the head of every
Right. every
department,
department.
and he was coming in and to us and giving us the information, and then we were going to call in whatever department we wanted to call in.
Absolutely. I kind of like that, I kind of liked getting two different views.
Yeah.
Yep.
And again, I'm
Well,
not
and then
saying
what
for the
comes-
selectmen not to submit the budget to us, because
Well, they
that, well, what?
Well, first of all, what comes to us is the proposed budget that is voted on by all three selectmen.
Right, but that never, all right, let me just step back, because again, I'm going 10 years here.
Yeah.
And the selectmen really never were involved in the budget
Back in the day.
back in the day. They never voted on it, they never looked at it, they never darkened the doorsteps of the Board of Finance for the most part. So I don't mind their input, and I'm not saying that they can't do whatever they decide to do, because more eyes on the budget is more eyes on the budget.
Right.
And, but what I'm saying is, what I've seen and what I'm concerned about is waiting for all this to take place has put us a bit against the wall. And then you get into things like, oh, well, you didn't look at the overages, or you didn't look at this, you didn't approve overages.
Mhm.
And you're at the end of a fiscal year. Nobody wants to stay more than an hour. And now you don't have time to do this and this and this and look at the thing. And I know from experience that when you're looking at potential tax increases, you start getting down to, pennies and nickels and dimes. So it takes longer to make decisions, where just seeing stuff,
Mhm.
making our own notes, making our own things, pointing whatever out and saying, what about this, what about this? Just giving us more time.
So who's
is what I'm
putting,
thinking?
who puts the proposals from the offices in their various shapes and forms, because some of them came on Word documents, into the Excel spreadsheet that we read as a team?
I believe that's Rick.
So
That has been Rick.
that's
It
the
wasn't
thing.
always.
So as soon as Rick gets those put in, we have access. So maybe Rick is our point to say, he can tell us this one's loaded, this one's loaded, this one's loaded. So if they come to both Tom and Rick, which we can find out,
Yeah.
then we could have Rick tell us.
But even if it's incomplete, we
Absolutely,
can
it's
still look at a
preliminary.
department.
absolutely, because we could still chop
Or
it,
we
and make
can
notes.
still see their capital requests.
Yeah,
And
then-
we can start doing what we're supposed to do, because we can go back to that capital tenure too.
Yep.
Because I'd like to see the capital requests they're making as they make them
Mhm.
too.
Same here.
So Adele, if
So-
if we can figure out if they go to both Rick and Tom from the departments, then if they go to Rick, then we can ask Rick to input them into the new budget spreadsheet, and we could have real-time viewing on it.
Right.
If they don't, they just go to Tom, then we'll make a proposal at our next meeting to do exactly what you say we should do.
Okay, I mean, I agree. I don't like this delay that we seem to be faced with, especially this past year. We were faced with that delay. And like you said, we were down to the wire and everybody was, up in arms. And obviously the major concern for everybody in this town is to bring the mill rate down.
Well, that should be simple.
Yeah, that should be simple this year.
Well,
Well,
let's
that's
Well,
not,
Yeah,
not if
it is.
everybody
Let's not,
puts
'cause we're
this in the
getting-
money away, excuse my language. I
getting-
mean,
we just got hit with $626,902 worth of overages
Oh,
to pay for,
but see, in this
No.
particular night,
not this year, but some of it may spill into next year.
But
Yeah.
I want
However-
to, just as an example, if
like
there's
that.
any,
Well, no.
if there's any pushback to what we're asking for, this year, we got right after the budget closed, we got an ask for a generator.
Yep.
And for $40,000, and I will just add, we gave it without questioning, because it was urgent, because we didn't have a warming center, because the Morris school still doesn't have their generator, wasn't set up. So we did it. They put it in, and then we had 3 days of no electricity, and the fire department was open for 2 hours to let people warm up. That's the one thing, as I feel as the Board of Finance, we're supposed to be protecting people. And we did our job at getting a generator, even so that wasn't in the budget.
Yep.
And then boom, but I just, that is one of the examples. Then Kyle comes in with $500,000 that he wants. And then we have the $10,000 overing of the truck maintenance. after we gave money. And it's just, it keeps on going, and it seems like no one feels that there's somebody watching over. There's no.
Well, so.
You're
No
right.
bottom
I can-
to the money list, according to Tom. That's the way I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna be really frank and
Well,
saying,
so hold on, guys. So just to be fair and play devil's advocate, I'm not taking sides here, but the generator, I agree, was sort of something came out of left field on that. It was tested in the fall and it failed. There was 3 or 4 quotes on the replacement of that. And I think we took maybe not the highest, but the one that made the most sense for the town.
because they could have it in a matter of days. And I agree there. I mean, we got,
Kip,
Well,
none of us are upset that we got the generator.
No, I
That's
just,
what we were supposed to do. But
right.
then it wasn't used correctly, but I'm just saying the town could come back to us and say,
Yeah.
hey, what's going on here? We have $1 million in excess and we have no warming station. So it's just,
Yeah,
it's just an example. I'm not blaming anybody.
Yeah.
Gary, we just have to look at the 3 rules or the 3 jobs that we have on that piece of paper that we just talked about. And as long as we meet those, we should sleep well at night. If we fund the town for emergencies, which we do, we
Mhm.
put ample money aside this past year. And it should cover some of the excesses that are kicking us in the ass as of this meeting. Then we're doing a good job. So.
well, I can understand where Carrie's coming from because you take elderly housing. They had no heat, all right? I know what it is. I had 32 degrees in my house. I didn't, I sat here, bundled up. Yes, I could have gone to my sister's, but those people in Eldridge, they're not all transferable. I mean, and the firehouse only being open up for 2 hours as a warming center, that's absolutely asinine.
Do we know that? Because I could not verify that.
Well, according to
I don't
everybody
know
that
what
I
they
spoke to, and if you
posted
went
on
on
Facebook.
to the Facebook
What?
post, you would see the firehouse was
They
open.
posted on
Okay.
Facebook, they were open Friday from 6 to 8, but I don't know
Yeah.
if they were doing Saturday or not, because they didn't
Right.
post it.
They
You
were,
know?
they were giving popcorn out on Saturday. They said, come by and get popcorn.
Big deal. I mean, you
Yeah.
want to get warm. I
I
mean,
didn't
these
know if it
people,
was-
I don't want,
I know, I
don't
drove
want-
by
I don't want
several.
to, Kip, I don't want to attack the fire department.
no,
That
no,
isn't our job. It's not our job. I just want to talk about the funding.
Yeah,
and
well, I think
make sure that we don't have these surprises. I think we can take more responsibility if we're in at the beginning of the discussion instead of
yeah,
after.
Yeah, I
yeah,
think
I agree.
town fund, going to a town meeting for additional funds should be the exception, not the rule. Is what you're trying to say, Gary,
Yes,
I
ma'am.
think.
Yes.
but what about the James Moore School generator? I mean, I know this, it's
Help
kind
me
of.
with that, Kip. Do you have any
I
idea?
don't, I can ask,
Can we ask about that?
sure.
I want to know, does anybody have the budget accessible in regards to, and I'm kind of flip the subject here, Carrie, for a second, on who was our ACO officer and the amount of money that she was paid in the year of 2022 to 2000, well, it's basically the year 2021 to
You
22.
have it in 21 to 22 or 22?
No, 21 to
23.
22. No, 21 to
That was
22
a year ago, like not.
So what are you looking at?
recently Or last year?
last year. What was she paid? I know she
Last
was
year? I don't
going
know.
basically October or November.
Animal control.
I don't
ACO,
know
Animal
last year.
control officer. It's usually on the very.
Mhm.
It's
Not
towards
off
the
top-
back part of the pages or something like, I don't have the budget in front of me.
Well, I have it in front of me.
I want to say it was about $2,600.
How much?
I thought it was low.
Well, you guys in the right years, because you're going back to
Yeah.
this budget.
All right.
years.
She
we
was an
need-
ACO officer in the town of Morris, 2021, 2022.
So who was, but what about 22 to 23?
don't have-
Well, she was, okay, well, she was let go.
Reports.
She was let go. So, okay, yes, part of
Why don't we
23 would be
balance?
involved
know
because
what
she
you're
was
looking
let
for.
go
I'm
in
tipping the right
October.
way. So you want to look at what the expenditures
oh,
were for
I-
this year to date?
Warren's Warden's salary is $10,250.
You're looking at the wrong sheets. That's what I was trying to get to.
We need to go to the animal
Go
control
to the
office.
current statement of expenditures and account.
The current one?
Yeah,
Isn't it the one we just had pulled up? You had pulled up earlier.
Yeah.
I think that's where she's heading. I believe.
Dog warden.
It's hard to keep track of the years.
I just happen to have dog warden up.
23 is where we are
Okay,
now.
all right. How much was she paid?
20,
Well, it's appropriated was 14,333.
what was
Yeah.
expended?
So year to date is $5,183.
Okay,
So then you
So
go back
we're-
to the following year.
Uh,
I don't know,
I
like,
mean, here's my thing.
I don't wanna go back
we-
to the following year. Take too much
We as
time
the
to-
Board of Finance have the right to know why this ACO officer was continuously paid money by the town of Morris taxpayers
Where is it?
Right here.
Oh,
when
okay.
she never responded to
Where?
one call.
Dog warden.
I get it. I hear you.
Go up a page, you're looking at.
I
Well,
don't
you know
how-
where I'm going, Hunter.
Well, here's the thing, there's really no,
That's the.
there's no accountability as to them with an hourly statement or what they did, right? There's a statement of
Well-
responded to this on this date, responded to this on this date.
Oh,
We don't
well,
know.
Okay, I get that, but here's the thing,
So
Hunter,
what,
okay?
she actually wasn't paid,
So year to date for this fiscal year,
was
The dog
only
warden-
$3,843.
So that's from July to when she was let go.
Yes,
All right. So I mean, basically, she was given money by the town of Morris for doing absolutely nothing other than sitting on her dead duff, never returning anybody's phone call. And in the meantime, and here's where I'm going. We all know that on 109 and 63, there's Eco.
a little dog eco.
We all know
That
Eco.
poor
We all know
beautiful
eco.
dog, right, that
We all
is
know Eco.
going to cause a huge accident, which it nearly did a couple of
Right.
weeks ago involving a busload of kids.
No.
Yeah,
it
no,
nearly cost-
I stopped for that dog twice already in the past.
You know
couple
what?
months.
Hunter,
don't
so
have
have I, and I've
defendants.
captured that
No,
dog.
And
But I
that's
mean,
just
here's-
me.
That's what I mean.
That's
Right,
just you
but I
and
mean
I,
that.
so.
yeah, but I mean, here's the
Yeah,
thing.
so it
It
doesn't have
nearly
that-
caused an
wow.
accident with a school bus with a busload of, all right, I don't have any children.
Well, then we
But
need
they're
to.
all-
What's going on in that?
Dale, then that person's employer or boss needs to have a direct discussion with them in the future and maybe
Well,
the
wait a
person that
minute.
gets hired maybe gets held to a higher standard than the past one.
okay, but here's the thing. I mean, this person that was hired by the town of Morris, paid by all of us,
Is that a
never
union
gave
position?
him one infraction.
No.
After 3 infractions, it automatically becomes a court date and the dog is confiscated. All right,
Is it
this
better
dog
than
is still running loose,
I don't know.
nearly hit, nearly killed, nearly causing accidents. Does the town of Morris really want to have a huge lawsuit on its hands? And that's what it's going to involve, because the ACO officer, and now we have no ACO officer, never did anything about it.
Yeah.
And this woman got all this money from the town of Morris in Jack Italy.
So we need to know what the status of ACO officers are.
Yeah.
We don't have one.
Well, hopefully
Well-
they're shopping.
Yeah.
No, he's gone shopping and nobody wants the job. But the one person that's willing to take the job, he can't stand for no reason at all. And you know what? Hey. It's
Okay.
mean-
I don't want to get off on a tangent on the dog warden.
no, but I mean,
I
I'm
hear what
going
you're
just-
saying.
I'm just
Um,
going on the perspective, Kip, that the town of Morris, the taxpayers, the Board of Finance, we all approve this money. This
Yeah.
money freely given to somebody. And this person, I mean, I was the very first person that had a call into the ACO officer and she never responded to my house. Tracy knew about it. I mean, I had a raccoon attack my dog and myself. And she would not come to my house. Deep came out that night and shot the coon because he was afraid the coon was rabid. Instead, it had distemper, which, you know, I'm very fortunate. But in the meantime, my dog and I went through the rabies things. But, you know, I mean, we had a person that never fulfilled her position. And yet she was kept on and still continuously paid by the town of Morris, which I think is wrong.
Yeah.
Yep. And you can call me next time. I'll put it down for you.
No, don't worry. I can pack myself and do that myself. But I wanted to make sure that I had the proper people who are doing it, you know?
No, but I can put him down
Oh,
humanely.
oh,
No.
He's gonna be hit by a car,
Okay, I don't want to get this conversation going in the wrong direction here.
right?
Just one thing I want to note, because we talked mill rates, because we was talking mill rates, but
Yes,
with the rebound,
yes.
not about mill rate. It's gonna be an extra calculation in the whole calculations
Mhm.
about raising taxes, because you could drop the mill rate by 5 mils with the amount of reval we have, and you'd still pay a lot more in taxes.
Yeah, yep.
So it's just something to keep in mind. Don't get too wrapped up in mill rates. It's gonna drop.
No,
It
I know.
has to drop.
I was just explaining or commenting on the
Yeah, but it's
the only thing that
Just a reminder.
town people want is the lower mill rate,
right.
which I think we'll be able to accomplish, but that doesn't mean that your taxes aren't gonna go up.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Correct.
You misunderstood me.
Correct.
Our job is to make sure the taxes don't
Don't
go
go
up.
up.
Right.
And to set the
so-
mill rate appropriately so that that doesn't happen.
But the mill rate, usually when there's not a reval, it's all about the mill rate. And if you
Right.
drop the mill rate, you lower somebody's taxes. But because of the reval,
Yeah. it's
the
gonna
mill
be-
rate is gonna be irrelevant to the actual tax bill.
And that's why it's so important for us to look forward to the 2-year, 5-year, 10-year needs of the future,
Right.
because we can not shoot ourselves in the foot by dropping it
Yep.
too much. But
We could
because
not raise taxes.
because there are more
by being
generate,
more
no, I get it.
fastidious.
But I'm saying we don't want to drop the mill rate too much and then find that we need new generators or we need a new water system or whatever. So,
Well,
Yeah,
that
it's cool.
goes to planning that, like with the
Capital
generator.
improvements.
yep, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, that got to be a crisis that maybe, look at how these things don't become crises.
Yeah, we got good practice with the state shooting us down.
Yeah.
In the past, we practiced.
Okay, does anybody have any other questions?
Public comment? Yeah.
Public
comment.
comment?
Is there a public to comment?
I don't believe that there is.
No.
Okay,
I would like to make a motion to
adjourn.
meeting adjourn.
I second,
8:50.
I second
Yeah.
it.
Okay,
Aye.
thank you all. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a good night, everybody.
Yep,
Night.
bye-bye.
So am I gonna get one?
Are you gonna regret this?
Am I gonna get